Good morning. Welcome to Join Our Town. I'm your host, Kathy Riley. Joining us today is Jeffrey M. Thomas, Director of the Municipal Water District of Orange County. Our issue is the environment, and our topic is Orange County water and the state water system. Hello, and thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So great to have you here. Again, it's been a little while.
It has.
Where does Orange County get its water?
Well, we get it from a number of sources. You would probably think the two most classic places are going to be up in Northern California, would be the Bay Delta area around Sacramento, and then Colorado. Those are the two classic sources, but one a lot of people kind of forget about is we have water underground. About half Orange County has an actual aquifer below it, so we can pull some water out of the ground.
It's amazing.
We get three sources.
Wow. Oh, but most people don't know about that.
No.
You don't see it, you don't know it's there.
You don't see it, and yeah, if it's not there yet, right, that's exactly right.
And how does that vary throughout Orange County?
About half of it from about Tustin south, so if you go Tustin down to about San Clemente, and it'd be pretty much the eastern part of Tustin, you'd go down to San Clemente and San Juan Basin is really the area that we have to import a lot of water into, and then the part north of Tustin, classically you can pull it out of the ground and then they supplement through water from Metropolitan Water District, who gets its water from the two sources I just mentioned.
That's just amazing. So, wow. What are the roles of the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California, Municipal Water District of Orange County, which is MWDOC, you guys like to call MWDOC,
right,
and local agencies?
There's actually a county called MWDOC in Northern California, so people get us confused with that. But they're two distinct organizations in one respect. The Metropolitan is in Los Angeles. They are clearly the largest water supplier in the United States, and they get water from a number of sources, mostly the two I mentioned, Colorado and Northern California. They then would ship it to us, and then we distribute it amongst our agencies in Orange County.
Wow. We're in a historic drought. How well is Orange County conserving water?
Yeah, they're doing really well, and I'm proud of them. And in fact, we'll have two people that'll come on in just a moment too. I applaud them. I applaud the work that people have done to remove turf. I applaud the job people have used to get toilets, sinks, everything, plumbing fixed, outside watering. That's been very important. We were shooting roughly at about 22%-ish, right around there. We're roughly at about 24%, which means they've done better. Wow. So they get an A+.
Does that mean the percentage of people that have new toilets and new shower heads, is that what the 24% means?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's a combination of a number of things. Cutting back, watering plants less, 1 to 2 days a week max, taking out lawns and putting in artificial turf, which I've done myself. And our guests that are going to follow are going to talk about that in depth. I mean, Orange County's been very good at pulling out grass, and then also putting in drought-resistant plants too. That's been huge.
What is a drought-resistant plant? Do you have an example? Or?
They're commonly referred to as succulents too.
Okay.
It's you would want to think of it as a cactus, but it's really not.
I always think of a cactus.
I do too.
It's the only thing that pops in my head.
And actually, there's some really beautiful ones too. Now, others are much more on the botany side and know better. And I'm colorblind too, so I can't tell you which one.
You just ask your flower shop,
I've got a few, right?
Your local garden shop,
Home Depot, and they'll tell
exactly.
you. Yes, show me the succulents.
How have Orange County agencies persuaded customers to use less water?
Well, through really heavy PR. Our partners, this would be 28 agencies in Orange County, have done a great job of getting the word out to the constituents. We've also done a lot of meetings. We've gone out to homeowners associations. That's been a big part of it too, is getting out into the community. You'll see it on the signs too. When you drive down the freeways, it'll say, "Save water, California is in a drought, severe drought." And so the word's been getting out. The governor has been real big on this. There's been a lot of public service announcements on it. I think the public has done an outstanding job of reading this. It's even gone down to the school children, down to kindergarten, where we're teaching them to be more water conscious and all the way up through high school. So it's been very aggressive. We were expecting El Nino to end the drought. What happened? Yeah, it's been El No-No, I guess.
El No-No.
It hasn't shown up like we thought. Now, we're doing okay, but we need to be above normal. Northern California has done a lot better than us, and we rely heavily on snowpack, and they're doing calculations to figure out how much of that snowpack is going to melt off and how quickly. It's very scientific. How much comes down here? You don't want it too fast, you want it slow, and to basically gradually melt.
The snow has a ways to travel. turning into water to
It
get here.
does, and it's been unseasonably warm up there too. But we have a lot more water than we did last year, which is much better.
Wow.
We're nowhere near where we need to be.
Wow. But what are some of the environmental and economic implications for our region as a result of the drought?
Well, severe business issues, obviously. You've got businesses that are having to cut back on their water too, particularly if you're highly dependent upon it. The other industries, and again, some of the other guests can talk about this because it gets into landscaping, pools, a number of the other businesses that we don't typically think about, but yeah, pool manufacturers, that's got to be down.
Oh, wow.
A number of the things that we would think. Also, too, one thing that, and I hope Joe Berg addresses this, is that the housing industry has been very good at responding to this. One of the questions we get is how come they continue building? Well, one of the things they've done is they've adopted new ways to cut back on watering. So the new modern houses are very technologically savvy and able to trim the water back. And what they're putting in is really drought-resistant landscaping.
That's wonderful, especially now and for the future.
It is.
Yeah. What does the future hold, and will the drought ever end?
Well, the future is one of those things. It's kind of funny. It's hard to predict.
Yeah, it is.
And that sounds like a Yogi Berra saying, right? You know, but the one issue I can definitely say is that we don't know. I'll be honest with you, and even the soundest minds within the industry. We had a speaker a while back from the Farmer's Almanac. They've been pretty good at predicting for 150 years whether or not there's going to be rain. They actually told us there's not going to be as much rain as we think, and they turned out to be right. But nobody really agrees. There's not a lot of consensus on that. But we could get an unseasonably wet spring. Anything can happen. It's a highly unpredictable field. It's one field, I have to say, if being a weather meteorologist, great job to have, because you don't have to be right all the time.
You don't.
You know, it's so you get paid, which is great.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. Easiest job in California.
I'm sure I'll get a call from meteorologists now going, hey, it's not an easy job.
I know, it's not an easy job.
It's not.
We apologize. No, and what does that mean to us?
Well, I think it means we're going to have to continue cutting back. We may have to even cut back a little bit more. If this continues, if it continues being dry, or if it gets even drier, we'll have to cut back. We're also going to have to look to new sources. One of the things we should talk about is that we're not sitting on our hands here and just waiting for this to continue. We're looking at alternative sources like better ways to get water out of the ground, better ways to conserve. We're also looking at desalination. We've got 2 plants that we are siting right now, one up in Huntington Beach and one down in Doheny, which is Dana Point. We're looking at alternative sources too. A lot of our retail agencies are looking at more creative ways to say, hey, how do we draw more water into the region and keep this thirsty area a little wetter than it is.
Good, excellent. What is the California water fix?
Well, that's what's called the Bay Delta. It would affectionately also be referred to as the Sacramento River area, and also where the little salmon is. Well, not the salmon, excuse me, it's the smelt, the Delta smelt. That's that little fish that
the little fish
has tied up a lot of the issues on the Delta. A lot of that has changed, and the governor's taken a plan to try and basically repair the Delta, which has to be done, and then have ways to get water down to Orange County, well, Southern California, so we get a better supply.
Great. Will we get more water from Northern California?
We could. We'll probably get a little more than we've got now. We're not getting that much of an allocation. They're keeping most of it up there. We've done a very good job, because you mentioned Metropolitan, and one of their issues is that they're very great. They're great on storage. They're great on conservation, because they've done so well, and because we've stored up water for 2 years. We've got quite a bit in reserve. That being said, 2 years is not a whole lot if you're in a 4 years of a drought, which we are. So we're going to have to slowly cut back if we don't see more water.
Oh. What are the top objectives of the water fix?
I think it's, well, one of them definitely is going to be to repair it. You've got literally islands and levees that are 100 years old. And so the concern is if there's a major earthquake or something happens that those levees break, they're also going to preserve the Delta smelt and the ecology. It's important. And there's a real fine balance. And then to take the water and then to shift it into other areas in the state, that's not easy to do. Transportation costs a lot of money. It takes a lot of time and energy. Energy meaning the electrical energy. So it's a very costly process to do that. I like to keep our water closer to us, although I have to say the Delta's been a great source of water for Southern California. I do like it here, and that's what I think a lot of us are starting to look at, is how do you get more here and keep it here?
Right, yeah, we like water here.
We do.
What is the current status of the project?
Right now, they're in a phase of looking at the environmental impact reports. That takes a long time. They get a lot of input in. Nothing has actually been built yet, but we're predicting, and I would say, again, Joe Berg would be great because he probably knows the exact day because he's talking to the engineers up there and as to when they're going to start moving forward with that.
Who can viewers contact with further questions?
Well, you can definitely contact the Municipal Water District of Orange County. Municipal Water District of Orange County is kind of an interesting organization in that we have 7 different directors that report in. My area would be Tustin down to Santa Margarita, and in essence, anybody in that area, that part of Irvine, Santa Margarita, Tustin, Trabuco, can contact me, and you'll get my number as well. But Municipal Water District in Fountain Valley, definitely for information, and then your local water provider. So if you're with IRWD, they'll be a great source too to contact and get any information.
Excellent. Thank you for your time.
You're very
More
welcome.
goes into reliably delivering water than most people realize. How can we stay on top of the issues?
We're going to have to obviously pay attention to it. What's nice is we are bringing up a generation of children who are much more water aware than we were. I mean, for me, when I grew up, you just turn on the tap and it comes, and you get on your slip and slides, you throw water out, you wash your cars in the driveway. We're not doing that anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not quite the same.
Yeah. Everyone's green, and that kind of covers everything.
Everyone,
with conserving.
brown is the new green,
Yeah.
unfortunately. I don't like too much brown. Fortunately, I'm colorblind. I can't see it, so it still all looks
So
the
for
same.
you, it all looks beautiful.
It all looks gorgeous. Yes, it does.
Great. Fabulous. Is there anything else you'd like to add in the last minute
No,
or so?
I've come a number of times and spoken on TBM. I'm always glad to do this. We want to be active with the community. We understand that people are very interested in the issue, and they are paying attention, so I give them credit. I would like to give them a high five.
That's great. Well, we really appreciate you
Thank
being
you,
here.
Kathy.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.